Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing a range review of an item that I've actually had in, at least the prototype of this one anyway, for probably over 6 months at this point. We have thousands of rounds through them, and we're just going to let you know what we think about it. So the optic is what we're talking about, of course. It is the Holosun ACSS Vulcan. So it's basically the base unit itself is a 507v2 from Holosun, which is a very well-regarded pistol optic out there. Look around, you'll see lots of reviews. I have one, and it does really well in terms of durability. Those sorts of tests. It has the solar panel on top for extra battery life. Speaking of battery life, you're going to get 50,000 hours of battery life out of this guy, so you're not going to have to worry about it if it is a duty pistol or a concealed carry pistol. When you draw it out, assuming you change your batteries every now and then, every couple of years, it will be on and will be good to go. It's also night vision compatible, and it is windage and elevation adjustable, of course, as you would imagine. You have half MOA clicks, and it's really easy to dial in. The reticle on this one, though, is what differentiates it from every other pistol red dot out there on the market that I'm aware of, and it really is why I think for most people the one you should go with. And that's a big statement for me. I've been a huge Reticle RMR fan, particularly the Type 2 or the HRS, and the reason I say that is twofold. So the advantages of this reticle, which by the way is a chevron in the center and then a circle on the outside, you can program it so you don't have the circle. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. But the circle is over 100 MOA, and it's specifically designed so that way when you are at full extension, you don't see the circle. Like right now as I'm looking at it, there's no circle. I'm probably gonna roll in some footage. You guys are gonna see the circle in there. That's just because I couldn't get my arms far enough out in front of the camera when filming from behind the camera. But what it does is when you're presenting, like so, like right now I just presented, and I can see the bottom half of the circle. So if you see the circle, you know you're off, right? You know your dot's off. Well, with the red dot, what happens, right? You do this, and you're fishing for it. You're fishing for your dot. On this one, you never have to fish for it, because if you miss it initially, come out, like right now I'm a little bit low, but I can see the top of the circle. Again, hopefully I'm rolling this in here, images that you guys can see. But what that circle shape does to me is it immediately tells me the dot's right below it. So regardless of where I point out, again, I'm a little bit low here, boom, down, on. It immediately corrects itself, and your brain does it almost subconsciously. You don't have to think about it, and that's huge, right? So why is that huge? It's huge for two reasons, right? It's huge for new folks. That's kind of obvious. A lot of people who are new to red dots have a hard time finding the dot. And additionally, if you're doing, how do I want to term it? Non-square range shooting, right? So if you're out, on a square range, it's very easy to practice your draw, practice your presentation, and you'll be able to pick that dot up. However, if you are firing from unconventional positions, if you're very quickly transitioning from targets, one thing you'll know for anybody who's done this, even if you're proficient at red dot shooting, if you're driving off of a target to the next one or pulling off of a target to the next one, sometimes you over get it, and your dot will go by it as well. And again, you got to kind of come back with it. Again, this helps you get back on that really quickly if you're firing from unconventional positions. Like again, you can do this over and over again with a specific gun, with a specific grip angle, and you'll absolutely be able to find the dot every time with enough practice and muscle memory. However, if somebody knocks you down on your back, this isn't going to help you. You're gonna have to figure out how to do this, right? And those sorts of things. So in a dynamic environment, it's also huge. I'm sure folks are gonna say down in the comment section, just dry fire more. I'm telling you, anybody I know who's used this system immediately realizes the benefits of it as soon as you use it. It's always hard to convey there on camera, but it's absolutely a big deal and a big improvement for a lot of folks. And these optics as well have been very, very durable. So if you watch my original 507 video, you'll see that I drop it multiple times, and outside of the RMR, it's, I think, second in terms of the durability testing that I've done. We did eventually crack it on a steel target, but it took a few tries, and that's pretty good considering most of your pistol optics out there will crack very quickly from a 6-foot drop test. And in terms of durability, again, it's done very well. Even when it was cracked, you could still use it too, which is nice. Another feature of the reticle being that chevron. is that it does have a BDC capability. You guys can see the zeros and the BDC for different calibers here on your screen. But again, durability has been great. Battery life's great. It's got a very good reputation at this point. The 507 does. There's probably hundreds of thousands of them out there. And again, it's just auto-correcting, which I really, really love. For someone like me, the reason that helps, even though I am, relatively speaking, a proficient shooter, is that when I go from that M&P to this Glock 40, it definitely is a different grip angle, and you have to present differently. Now, there's different ways to kind of correct that in your brain with practice. That's a video for another day. But it does change how you present it, and that circle, again, brings it right back on target. I may have already rolled in some of the footage of me banging this thing here on some steel itself. Obviously, it's an aluminum housing. It is a 7075 T6 aluminum housing. It's type 3 hard anodized, and I'll roll in photos if you guys can't see it that well right now, but it held up just fine to that abuse, so you don't have to worry about, you know, it being delicate if you have to do a one-handed manipulation for whatever reason using your optic. One thing that I would say is a con to it compared to some offerings that have come out in the last year or so, like say the Aimpoint Acro, is that it does not have an enclosed emitter. What does that mean, Mike? It means the emitter is right back here, right in front of the elevation dial. And so if something gets in there, sand, dirt, whatever, my dot is off at that point. I can't see it, and you'd have to get in there and clear it, and then now it's back on. Does it matter for most folks? Probably not. I've used these out in the rain and have had no issues with them. So in terms of the IPX rating, you're really fine there. Additionally, I should point out that even with the rain on there and you know, water droplets, again, you can still see it. It's not an issue. The only time I've ever seen with the 507s any sort of issue being able to actually see it is when going from like inside my house to outside when it's like below 30. It momentarily fogs up and then it's back on. So just know that going forward. There is a slight blue tint to it. Some folks hate that. Some folks don't. I don't care at all. It doesn't bother me. I've read reports from folks with astigmatism that the 507s are a little bit easier on their eyes than folks say they, like an RMR is, for example. Again, I don't really have an astigmatism issue, so it's hard for me to personally say, but I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, I mean, we've got tons and tons of rounds through these things, and haven't had a single issue. And I really think that for the vast majority of people out there, if you're going to use a red dot for defensive capabilities, I should mention it's also night vision compatible, but if you're going to use it for defensive capabilities, this is what I would go with. If I was going to carry or have a home defense pistol with an optic, which currently I do not, but that may change in the future as trends evolve. If I was going to right now, this is absolutely what I would pick, and it's because of the reticle. It's you know, the word game changer is overused, but for a lot of people, for anyone who's struggled picking up the dot, 100%, it is a game changer for sure. Price point wise on it, it's actually not bad as well. So right now these are coming in right at $309, and there'll be a link either pinned in the video description or down below, pinned in the comments rather, or in the video description, depending on where you're watching this. You should note it also takes RMR, any kind of RMR footprint or RMR mount. I have not used these on rifles or like pistol caliber carbines, but it does come with the 1913 mount to do so. The circle, if say you had it like on an AR like that, it might come in handy on that because it would be close enough to your eye that it would act sort of like a donut of death with the EOTech. But again, once you get out to pistol, rather stance presentation, that circle disappears, which is beautiful, unless you're off. And if you're off, it draws you right back on target. So I think that's it. I think I've ranted enough. I know I'm going to get the comments in the comments section. You just need to dry fire more. I'm telling you. I dry fire plenty with red dots. That's not the case. It is different. And again, look around the internet. There's multiple reviews up at this point. You guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much it. Just kind of a quick range review, letting you guys know that these are out there now, and you can order one up should you choose to do so. If you guys like this type of video, I typically do a much more detailed video, but I really kind of want to get this info out to you guys quickly now that they are finally here. But if you like this type of video, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you think you're subscribed, just double check that, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people for whatever reason. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.